There is no such thing as a secular education. Everyone is a worshiping being, and there is a way of doing education that doesn't acknowledge that, and there's a way of acknowledging it.
We recognize that the world does things very differently. We know that they will have to interact with the world, and we want them to interact with the world. We want them to look at the world and the things that the culture of the world tell them, and we want them to think about it, to mull it over, to evaluate it from the lens of Scripture.
We want our kids to go to the top of the mountains of media, of arts, of entertainment, education, of government, of religion, of sports. Whatever mountain they're called to climb, we want them to be at the top of it, not at the foot.
The world is rated R, and no one is checking IDs. Do not try to make it G by imagining the shadows away. Do not try to hide your children from the world forever. But do not try to pretend there is no danger. Train them. Give them sharp eyes and bellies full of laughter. Make them dangerous. Make them yeast. And when they've grown, they will pollute the shadows.
The thing that we love the most about JECA is the culture. I'm teaching my kids many things at home, and I love how it's reinforced here at JECA.
Certainly the community of families at JECA is one thing that makes it very unique. It is truly a JECA family here.
We're building a culture here, we're building an environment here that does shelter for a while. We want to be sharpening them, we want to be preparing them to go out. And as Nate Wilson says, to go be yeast and infect and pollute the shadows. We want to not just passively take stuff in, but we're creating students who can go engage and create and make a difference in that way.
We don't let students get by easy, but at the same time, we encourage a love of learning. They get excited about finishing a book to pick a new book. They get excited about coming to school and being with their peers, about giving their teachers a hug. And in all of that, we do try to foster not just a love of learning, but also a love of Christ. Everything is centered around Christ.
One thing that I love about classical education is that it helps children learn how to respond and not react. And so when you can learn how to respond and think through something rhetorically and think through something with reason and with logic and with understanding instead of just raw emotion, you're going to get a lot further in conversation and problem solving.
Classical education often divides students into three schools: the grammar school, the logic school, and the rhetoric school.
We base our K through 12 program on those three roads. We make a big deal that grammar stage is that stage where we learn how to learn facts.
Students in the grammar school are very strong at observing, at memorizing.
Filling their heads with knowledge, filling their heads with truth, beauty, goodness, showing them the capacities that they have to learn an enormous amount of material in a short amount of time and giving them those foundational steps that they need for later.
Logic school, as they begin to get to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they're thinking more deeply, they're learning how to reason.
And then we go on to a rhetoric stage where there is expected of them to have a wisdom about them. They know and they understand, and they are doing it beautifully. They're standing in front of their peers, and they're speaking well, and they are writing well.
Just having a safe place to kind of grow and flourish where, virtuous childhood, virtuous boyhood, virtuous girlhood is influenced, that they can grow to be who they are meant to be without having to try to conform to the world. And I love that about JECA.
It's been a blessing to be at a school like JECA where the teachers genuinely love their students. We get so excited about the coming year. We want to be at school. We love to be here. We cannot wait for our students to arrive. We cannot wait to come back the next day.
The gospel that they're carrying will be an offense. They should not be an offense. They should be winsome and careful and gracious as they go about their sword wielding.